Ayo, and ayo. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy, Scrub the Tarnished. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am an Elden Ring invader, and my journey as an invader started when I played through this game 10 times, or maybe a lot more than 10, like 16. Maybe even more than that. I lost track. And then I started watching PvP YouTubers, and then I got into PvP. And then I went from being a crab shack gank to a bad red man. So this bad red man, his name is EO. Not EO, just EO, because we're using the Regalia of Eochaid. This is a level 90 build. It is an arcane build centered around two weapons, the Regalia of Eochaid and the Clinging Bone, both which are arcane weapons. The Regalia of Eochaid is a dexterity scaling, like dex arcane weapon. But it doesn't matter if you pour more points into like arcane and then use the minimum dex requirement. You would get more damage in return if you scale it with dexterity primarily, but I mean, it's fine. I'm sure like the Ash of War, I think it just deals magic damage. I'm not sure if it does physical or both magic and physical, but either way, on an arcane build with Millie's prosthesis and the Rotten Wing insignia, you can shred people just like I did that Phantom. So, yes. So I power stance these weapons because power stance straight swords are absolutely menacing. And like I've never really invaded with power stance straight swords before, but it was quite the challenge to be honest. But it was a fun challenge to take on, and so it shreds. It shreds. So yeah. So here's some clinging bone action. I wanted to get in on this fight club because I'm somewhat of an honor red. Sure, I have a very large list of players who deserved rope feeded pots, but if there's a fight club, I might as well get in on the action. So I was able to, eliminate these two players. No idea why that red decided to just like smack me in the face with a giant ass fireball, but it is what it is. So GG, thank you Fight Club people. Thank you for letting me use Lifesteal Fist on you. It's so fun getting eliminations with the Lifesteal Fist because I'm sure people just get angry watching me sap the life out of them and then taking it for myself. So yeah, here we are at the Mogwin Albinaric slaughtering farm, and we have a wizard who deserves a rope feeder pot, and then just a normal co-opper. I don't know what they got going on here. I don't know why people at level 90 come to this place to farm. Like, it's kind of hard when you don't have whatever the wave of gold sword is. So I don't know. Human behavior. We're gonna go back to that subject. If you haven't seen that video, I highly suggest that you do because it has lots of weird human behavior. I've never played against anybody that has used the Morning Star before. So shout out this Phantom for being ballsy enough to actually use the Morning Star in PvP. I know it has like a good running attack, but otherwise like the range on it sucks, and I don't know. I feel like they're just boring weapons. I feel like there's a lot of hit and misses with Elden Ring weapons, especially is that even, it's not a flail, so is it like a hammer, I suppose? I think it's a hammer. I don't know. Hammers are interesting. They aren't that impressive to me. And what else is not impressive is this guy just spamming Rock Sling and the gravity pull spell. Like, out of all the spells you want to spam in my face, you had to choose those two spells. Like, that's just a nuisance. That player is just a nuisance right there. And so you already know, like, I don't give these guys the rope feeded pot because they don't deserve it that bad. Besides the wizard, I don't even know if I had those equipped, to be honest. So it's just like, yeah. So anyways, aside from that, so with power stance straight swords, you gotta wait for your opening to use that attack because it comes out pretty quickly. So it's teaching me how to space players properly because there's not a lot of range with straight swords. I didn't get the crit right there because I didn't want to end the fun that quickly. Like, I easily could have just like ended the invasion right there, but I'm petty like that. I want to make sure that the host sees their friend die, and then the host dies to the hand of my blade later. So I don't know. Maniacal, yes, but at the same time, we're a bad red man. We gotta show these players no mercy. It's not often that I do show players mercy, but like in circumstances like this, if they're being too passive, I'm just gonna bring out the great bow. And in circumstances like this where the host has an unupgraded, I wouldn't say unupgraded, but a very weak, hammer, then I gotta bring out the occult raptor talons and just delete you. So calm down, dude. You gotta calm down with those spell spammers. Don't be indoctrinated into the ways of the wizard, because the ways of the wizard also means that when you die, you get a roped feeded pot thrown on you. So yeah, here we are at the gank lake, the frozen gank lake. Wow, that's hard. The gank lake, gank lake, gank lake, gank lake, gank lake, gank lake. See, I started saying like gank link at the end of that. So try saying that 5 times. I know I probably won't be able to hear you say that 5 times. So like type it 5 times in the comments, I guess. Actually, no, that's pointless. I don't know why I would ask you to do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, so here we have 2. I don't know what these guys were doing, but one of them had, I originally thought he had power stance Vike spears, so I was ready with those madness pellets, but instead homie had 2 rotten crystal spears. The rot buildup on them is honestly not even that impressive. Like, even with wearing armor that doesn't have a lot of resistance to it, it's, I don't know, I feel like they kind of underperform. I found out recently, so I did a wizard build and expect wizard content soon. I know I was supposed to defeat the wizards, not join them. Also, look at that double kill right there with the raptor talons. Like, what? So, yeah, that was definitely worth throwing in there. The raptor talons can come in clutch sometimes if, the actual weapon that I'm using doesn't, perform well. But I did a wizard build. I know I was supposed to defeat the wizards, not join them, but that doesn't apply to me. So here's an example of the Regalia of Eochaid, absolutely shredding. 1700 health gone just like that. Luckily, I still had iframes. But yeah, I did a wizard build. I keep deviating from this topic, and so expect videos of that soon. And so I was wondering, like, I was trying to see if I should do either like a night sorcery wizard or like a crystallian wizard next. And so I wanted to compare the crystal staff and then the rotten crystal staff. There legitimately is no difference between the two. The rotten crystal staff says that it has rot buildup, but that's only if you bonk something with the wizard staff. So you have to press R2 to bonk with the wizard staff, and it does like an embarrassing amount of rot buildup. So I don't understand why the game decided to throw that in. And besides, the regular crystal staff has a higher sorcery scaling compared to the rotten crystal staff. So it's just, there's things in this game that do not make sense. For example, the 2 crystal staffs. What also doesn't make sense to me are those who spam that what's that one spell called? The one with like the 5 pews that sometimes can be hard to dodge, but those are, and moon veilers. Yeah, no, we don't give any respect to moon veilers and wizard spammers. So in a small enclosed space like this, you have to be rather careful with your openings on attacking. So like, I don't know, since if these guys are just getting close to each other and can't separate, then I'm not even going to try to attack into one or the other. But for an instance, if they're alone like this, then yeah, perfect time to focus on the Dung Eater. Shout out people who cosplay the Dung Eater. Like, I've never done a Dung Eater cosplay, but I feel like the sword of Milos is super cool. I should take that sword into like level 40. Oh my gosh, I just gave myself an idea. Oh my gosh, expect a level 40 build focused on the sword of Milos, and it's just going to be like the R2 build. Oh my gosh. So as you can see, you got to take advantage of the environment that's around you. If you look to the left, well, you can't really see, but if you see right here, those stack of balls, they explode. And so my tactic here was to get these guys close to these balls so that they could explode in their face and cause big damage. Unfortunately, the Dung Eater had the health and FP regen when you kill enemies, but I mean, that didn't really matter because the dung eater ate dung. The dung eater ate dung. So it was a good way to bring in the environment towards your advantage. So yeah, so you already know we're just gonna have to L2 Willow. It's good to have frostbite pots on this build as well, because when you have lowered resistances and defenses, and you have a clear opening like that uh, that guard break, I would go for the riposte, but at the same time, like, we're using the Regalia of Eochaid, might as well throw my sword into the air and absolutely drill this guy to death. So that's what happened. GG's to the Dung Eater, but not to the host. You're a spell spamming, Moonveil slinging wizard, and we do not give you honor. So here we have Canehurst Rose and Hercules. Hercules did not look so strong going up against this this Iron Maiden. So I think he's like anti-Hercules. I don't know. Like these. Okay, so like in my poison video, the what are they called? The Iron Maidens. They were of lots of helps. I'm getting tired. Like I said, I need to start changing up my schedule of the day, because like I want to be able to coherently commentate. They were of help, but unfortunately this invasion they were not of help. I learned in that moment that you can, as a red, be grabbed by the abductor virgins, and I found out. Unfortunately, you can be grabbed by the abductor virgins and potentially die if you don't have enough health to withstand their grab attack. So that was worth including in this video. One, for education purposes. Two, to remind myself that I need to get good and not let the PvE try to do my job for me. Because the goal is to, you know, use the PvE for when you need it, not when it needs you. So I fed the abductor virgin, and so yeah. Stupid of me to go for the boiling crab when somebody with a Guts Greatsword is rushing towards me. So buff up way before, even if you feel like you're so far away from the players, it's better to just rush in with your buffs. So one thing I forgot to explain in this build is that I have some incantations as well. Since I have a lot of Arcane, I can use like the incantation that throws blood in the place, and then I also have the blood flame talons, I think, and then the fly spam. I don't spam the flies because I'm not stupid like that, but I have that thing in my physic that gives you 10 extra faith. So these incantations are more for like utility and for zoning rather than like actual combat, because the focus of the build is simply on the Regalia of Eochaid. But I just have these incantations just to help me out if the time calls for it. Like if I need to separate a player from another one, I'll use the fly spam, or sometimes using the blood boon is what it's called. Sometimes I'll use blood boon and like throw it at the ground right in front of me. So like if they're rushing me, they walk towards, you know, the blood flame that's on the ground, and they could potentially like bleed out or whatever. So like I said, just for utility. I know this faith boost lasts like what, 3 minutes. So I forgot what else I added in my physic, but that's okay. So yeah, going back to what I said about small enclosed spaces, you really got to be careful about your openings of when to attack, because if you got two players who are in an enclosed space like this and they're huddled together and you attack one, the other is obviously just gonna, like, you know, attack you while you're still in that attack animation. But luckily we got the host. Shout out Hubert Humbug for being polite. I'm sorry that I wasn't polite trying to attack you even though you were despawning, but thanks for giving me like the hooray, you did it, Red. I'm like, oh well, I know I did, obviously. Your host is dead. I did it. So yeah, so here we have a I thought this was a wizard. Well, not the dude on the left. I thought the dude on the right with the dual curved swords was a wizard, because I see the Snow Witch hat and I automatically think wizard. But no, the knockoff, the dollar store Ragier was a wizard. I'm sure they just saw the Chase the Bro video that came out at the time that talks about how the Ragier set boosts your Ash of War on magic weapons. So like Moonveil, the Death's Poker, like all those Ashes of War can be boosted if you're wearing the Rajier set. So I don't know. I don't think I would ever try using that because it's such squishy armor. You're literally wearing cloth and rags. Like if I were to drill you in the face with my Eochaid's Dancing Blade, I'm sure you would cease to exist. So we got to make sure that we find as many people as we can that wear squishy armor like that and just, delete them. So there goes Hail of Ethereal. Is that how it's pronounced? Ethereal? I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I have like slight dyslexia. Sometimes I read through words like too fast and not really like articulate them. But yeah. So that was a wizard who deserved the rope feeded pot. So don't use Moonveil on me, or else you'll get got, and then you'll get shit on. So yeah. So here we have a fun 1v1 with, I don't know how to say this guy's name, 007 I'll call him. So very respectable dude, but I'm not here to play around. I'm kind of getting tired of going against solo TT hosts. Like, please just go to the Coliseum. Like, I understand that you want to play some PvP as you traverse through the game, which I understand. Like, there technically is no wrong in that, but at the same time, like, I go into the arena and then like 90% of the players that I go against, they're actually really bad at the game or just at PvP. So I try to invade, for a little bit more of a challenge. But a lot of these solo TT hosts are like the arena players. They are kind of stupid. So got to give them the sarcastic clap. Nice try, bud. That's what happens when you try to buff up too many times. So yeah, well, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment of like what builds you want me to try. Here are the stats. You could pause if you want. 45 Arcane, 22 Dex, +5 comes from Millie's prosthesis, and I originally had 11 Strength, but yeah. So then we have 50 Vigor. I think that's important to have at level 90. Yeah, so it's just focused on the Clinging Bone and the 2 Regalia of Eochaid swords, and using the L2 and drilling players. And that is pretty much the video. I need to make these outro clips a little longer so I can talk more about the build, but that's okay. That's what the pause button is for. And so I love you guys. Have fun with whatever you're going to do after you're done watching this video. Be good to yourselves, and I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Okay.